Hi, Dr. Woodland here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're someone who frequently wakes up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, you're not alone. But maybe you haven't considered all of the reasons why this occurs. One in particular that I'm sure you haven't thought of. We're going to talk about that next. So let's become more aware together. If you frequently get up at night to use the bathroom, you're definitely not alone. I see this with a lot of my patients. This is a very common condition known as nocturia. And while it might seem like a simple problem of too much water in an overly full bladder, there's actually a lot going on. And today we're going to take a deep dive into some of the hidden factors behind nocturia and why it's not just about what you eat and drink, but also your behaviors, your mindset, and even your sleep patterns. So let's explore today how behavioral reinforcement plays a huge role in your nighttime bathroom trips and why addressing it can actually help you to sleep better. By the end of this video, you will understand how to train your bladder to stay calm through the night and maybe, just maybe, sleep through those bathroom breaks once and for all. So let's make it happen. Now, before we touch on the behavioral side of things, let's quickly review some of the more commonly known causes of nocturia. First up, we've got diet. There's been lots of videos on YouTube that talk about things like drinking too much water at night or your diet. Food and beverages like caffeine, alcohol, and even spicy foods can irritate the bladder, causing you to wake up in the middle of the night to relieve yourself. And yes, too much water before bed definitely can contribute to nocturia. But we all know the importance of staying hydrated. So what's the sweet spot? What's the kind of middle ground? But we also have another one that's lesser known that also could be very impactful, and that's sleep apnea. If you're constantly waking up to gasp for air or snoring throughout the night, that can disrupt your sleep cycle. Sleep apnea is actually more closely related to nocturia than many people realize. When your body doesn't get enough sleep, it tends to produce more urine during the night. Of course, again, there's that role of water intake. You might think that your bladder is simply overacting to too much fluid before bed, and that's definitely a possibility. But here's the thing. Even if you've addressed diet, sleep apnea, hydration, or something else, for example, prostate, maybe you've addressed that. But what if you still find, in spite of addressing the medical issues, what if you still find yourself going to the bathroom? So then what's going on there? Now, here's where things get interesting. You've likely neutralized the physical causes of nocturia, whether that's adjusting your diet, improving your sleep, managing your fluid intake. Maybe you're having some sort of medical interventions or medications. But what if the problem's actually behavioral in nature? It turns out that our habits and mental responses to needing to use the bathroom can actually reinforce the pattern of waking up. This means that even if your bladder doesn't need to go in the middle of the night, your body is trained to get up anyway. Okay? So let me explain. If you've been waking up at night for years to use the bathroom, your brain and your bladder can start to associate that feeling of urgency with getting out of bed, even if your bladder isn't truly full. Over time, this becomes a learned behavior. And the more you respond to the urge, the more that your body starts to expect it. And guess what? This can lead to what we call behavioral reinforcement. In short, you wake up, go to the bathroom, and your bladder starts reinforcing the idea that you must get up and relieve yourself every night, even if there's no physical urgent need. It's like a cycle that becomes increasingly difficult to break. Another aspect of nocturia is something we call fear avoidance. Let's say you've had some pretty sleepless nights because of those bathroom trips. You wake up, you feel uncomfortable, and you rush to the bathroom, only to lie awake after, wondering if you'll have to get up again. The fear of not getting back to sleep can make the problem worse. You may start to anticipate waking up to pee, which then makes it harder to fall asleep. This constant worry can lead to insomnia, where your mind is preoccupied with the idea of having to get up in the middle of the night. The anxiety you experience can affect your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep, even if your bladder is perfectly fine. So now, not only are you dealing with nocturia, but also a potential sleep disorder triggered by the fear of the nocturia itself. Flipped another way, you can also look at it as, well, I often wake up and I have the fear of being awake, right? It's the middle of the night and I shouldn't be awake. I should be sleeping through, but you wake up anyways, let's say. And what can happen is that we have these negative thoughts about sleep called negative sleep thoughts or negative sleep beliefs. I've done videos on this before. Feel free to check those out. Now, what can happen is that as those negative sleep thoughts kind of creep in while we're awake at night, what can happen is that our mind starts to wake up, our brain starts to wake up, and then our body starts to wake up as well. One of the things that can happen if we're awake in the middle of the night and our bladder has been filling is that we can have those impulses to go, right? And what can happen is that as we get up and go, we stop thinking about the fact that we're awake for a moment, and then our anxiety actually goes down for maybe just a little bit. It might not be that you're overly anxious, worried, or panicked by the fact that you're still awake at night, but the simple act of leaving that bed behind then makes a little bit of that sympathetic fight or flight activation decrease. And that becomes reinforcing, right? It's like, well, I don't want to think about my sleep. And so therefore, what do? I get up and go to the bathroom. Okay, well, my bladder's talking to me anyways. And so then it can become this cycle where upon waking, your bladder says, this is what we do now. Even though, this is an interesting part as well, is that all things being equal, your bladder is actually designed to hold water throughout the night, right? It's designed to hold water for at least 4 to 6, maybe even 8 or 9 hours, right? And yet, we still get up and go. One evidence of this is if you notice yourself getting up and going and you don't pee a lot, so maybe you pee just a little bit. And this is a clear sign that behavioral components are at play with your nocturia. So, how do we break the cycle? How can you train your bladder and brain to stop waking you up unnecessarily? Well, this is where bladder retraining comes into play. Just like you might train a muscle to grow stronger or more flexible, you can actually train your bladder to hold urine longer. And you can teach your brain to associate night with sleep rather than frequent bathroom breaks. Here's a basic outline of how bladder retraining works. Number 1, start with gradual fluid reduction. Start gradually reducing the amount of fluid you consume in the evening, but don't cut it off completely. Hydration, of course, is still important. Number 2, timed voiding. Instead of rushing to the bathroom at the first sign of an urge, try maybe to wait a little bit longer. For example, if you feel the urge at 10 p.m., maybe try waiting until 10:30 p.m. Slowly extend the time between bathroom visits. Number 3, bladder relaxation. Practice relaxation techniques to calm both your bladder and your mind before bed. Maybe things like meditation, deep breathing, or progressive muscle relaxation can help lower anxiety and reduce the urgency sensation. Number 4, conditioning the mind. Your mind plays a key role in the process. When you wake up in the middle of the night, try not to immediately respond to the urge. If you can, Tell yourself, remind yourself that your bladder can hold it your bladder can hold it until morning. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. The goal is to retrain your bladder and mind to work together so you can sleep through the night without the unnecessary interruptions. To wrap up, if you're someone who struggles with nocturia and you've already addressed diet, hydration, maybe you've already addressed sleep apnea, maybe you've already addressed other mechanical factors as well, it might be time to look at which behavioral factors are at play. Behavioral reinforcement, fear avoidance, and anxiety are powerful forces that can keep you trapped in a cycle of waking up at night. By understanding these dynamics and practicing bladder retraining, you too can break the cycle and enjoy a more peaceful, restful night's sleep. It won't happen overnight, but with persistence and with patience, you can see improvements. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope this information helps you take a step closer to more restful nights. If you struggled with nocturia or have tried bladder retraining, let me know of your experiences in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more helpful tips on the mind-body connection, health, and wellness. Sleep well, and we'll see you next time.